Mm. Okay, so I am live, I think. Yes. And I can actually hear myself. Now, I have something to share this evening after such a long time. And it is amazing. I had to entitle this, Are You a Leader? Because I don't know if some people know if they're leaders or not. I'm just going to be blunt. I don't think I have anything written. I'm just going to tell this story of what happened to me. I went to a different city for 3 weeks. The intention was for 2 weeks because I thought I had something coming up and I wanted to make sure I get myself prepared and all that kind of stuff. But there was a snowstorm, or the snow started, and since I'm in a different place and the snow started, I didn't want to drive out there in the snow, not knowing that I'm not used to driving in snow in this place. Okay, so this is what happened. I went into, I basically stayed in a hotel, right? I'm testing to see if I can go into a house, and I am hurt. I'm just going to say it as plain as I can. I am so hurt. So I was testing to see if I can go in a house and what's going to happen, right? If I go in a house and just to see how these people are going to behave, because there are some people without behaviors and they're calling themselves leaders, and I don't know how you can call yourself a leader when you have no moral, no ethics, no respect for people's privacy. I mean, harassment to the maximum, and that's leadership. So I don't know why when people do things, they believe that you don't know ahead of time what they're doing. They planned and they dug their pit. And I heard when the Lord said, go, just go. If you don't go, you won't know. So just go and see what it is that they have planned. And they put a device in the room, because as soon as I went in, actually, I saw a gentleman outside and I was just observing him. And I said, if I'm seeing this man, looking at me like that, and, like you can tell, like it was so suspicious that I knew they were going to put something in there. So I said, okay, let me see what will happen in this case. Let me see what is it that they're going to do. It was not funny. It just wasn't funny at all. But they actually put a device in the room, and as soon as I got to the mirror, I turned on the lights and I stood at the mirror and I looked for a little while just to see what was going on, to see what I would feel, like I'm trying to feel out the room. And I felt someone push my elbow. And I said, okay, if someone pushed my elbow like that, somebody's in the room with me. Somebody's in the room. But I already I was packing my things inside, and it was like going up this steps, and I didn't want to go back down because I took my stuff out of the car and I put them in the hotel, and I didn't want to go up and down the steps because I was doing that, but I didn't want to go up and down the steps with the heavy stuff. And so I said, Lord, I'm testing this. I got two beds. There's a reason why I got two beds, because someone was supposed to have come, right, and stayed with me because we were supposed to be working on something together. The person sent a message to say, I'm stuck and I'm not able to come. But I noticed what they did with one of the bed. One of the bed had a sheet, and the sheet it had mildew on it. So I said, obviously they thought that it was a male person that was going to come in the room with me. So they put that on the bed. Anyway, I asked for them to come and change the thing. And I could hear somebody say, go take a shower first. I heard that as plain as. And I said, who is this demon that's talking to me? Like, you think I don't know the voice of God? Like, why are you speaking when I'm not talking to you? I called the front desk and nobody answered, but I heard when someone said, why don't you go take a shower first? I said, okay, all right, okay, demon, I'll go take my shower. But I left the light off. I didn't turn on the light. And then after I finished taking my shower, I heard when the Lord said to me, well done, well done. Who can find a virtuous wife? I heard when he said that. That's Proverbs 31. Because anytime I hear that scripture, I know it's because somebody has a plan to watch me naked. And the Lord said they came and they set their traps. But they set their traps and they will get caught in the trap that they set. They dug their pit, but they will fall right in the pit that they dug because somebody is pregnant with evil. So whoever you are, that you are so pregnant with evil, and you think that your aim is to destroy me, your aim is to watch me naked, you better get yourself right. That's my suggestion. And it's a suggestion. I'm not putting a demand on anybody because I know that people don't know themselves. And there are a whole lot of disrespectful people who don't know who they are. And as a leader, if somebody at least can acknowledge that he or she is a leader, that person should know how to behave with ethics and moral so we can see what your value is. Because some people, you're valued at nothing. I don't care how much money you have, but you're valued at nothing because of your behavior. Why do you keep putting device from one place to the next? When are you going to grow up, smarten up, and be bright enough to know that someone can tell exactly what you're doing? Someone can feel the environment. Someone can tell. I can't tell. There are gifts inside of me. And that's what people are trying to find out. But I heard when the Lord said to me that these people know no shame. I am just saying, whoever you are, stop it. Otherwise, I'm just going to call out your name. I don't care if you have a million, billion, trillion, dillion dollars. I'm going to call you out. I'm going to do it. Because you cannot be doing stuff like this to people. I went to Calgary to get my wisdom tooth out, and Tyler Perry, I know it was Tyler Perry. I'm not asking because he's the one who said he's Archangel, our Archangel Michael. Well, you have no right to put device up in place. They come back with the same garbage again. Same foolishness. When are you going to stop? Because you're a bunch of lunatics. Your obsessive behavior is going to get you in trouble. Because some of you are already in trouble. If you can put device in a place from one place to the next, you don't know whose wife you're putting the device on. You don't know whose person you're putting the device on. But some of you have no respect for people and you have no manners. Dolly McClurkin and Marvin Winans, they were doing the same thing. I was married for 22 years, let me tell the world. 22 years. And Marvin Winans, when I showed up at his church, there's a reason why God told me to show up at his church. Because when I showed up at his church, he claimed that he had to send a private investigator to come and find his wife. His wife was the wife of another man. His wife had a husband. That's me. Because I'm the one he said he had to send private investigator to come and find his wife. And I was married. Already married for what? It was about what? 11 years already? And this man has been following me from whenever. Donnie McClurkin with the same thing. And so they think they should get rid of the husband, poison him, do whatever they need to do, send their girlfriend to go sleep with him and all that of stuff. Like, how do you do this and expect to stand up on the platform and preach to people? So let me deal with the ones in the church first, the leaders in the church. And what the Lord said to me was, how did Marvin Winans know what Donnie McClurkin was doing and still gave him pastoral position? Which God are you serving? Which one? Because it sounds like there are too many now. Because everybody wants to be God. And so they sit down and they're trying to study me to see who is going to be the next Antichrist. Let me say it like he said it. I held my peace for a long time, but he said, for so long I've held my peace. Nobody tells me when to speak. I speak when God tells me. But he said, how long? He said, I have held myself back silent, according to Isaiah 42. I've kept myself silent for a long time, but now I would pant and rave like a woman in labor, which means when we're in labor, what happened? When the pain is hitting us, we're angry. And he said, I'm angry with the wicked every day. They keep cutting out your voice when you're recording stuff. These Moabites who don't want to stay wherever they belong, like Jennifer King, who keeps coming over here. Why don't the government send someone to go find her when she's coming over here and bringing the fentanyl? That police officer from Sarnia who acts like he's innocent, but he was up in a hotel doing drugs. And then everybody turn around and they hate me because I'm not submitting to their garbage. I don't submit to fools. Why should I submit to fools when you're not God? I think you idiotic people need to get a grip of yourself. I sat down and I was watching the legislature in Alberta because that's the only place that I see where you can actually sit on and watch the legislature and learn about it. I don't even see that in Ontario. I'm going to be honest with you. So I got to sit down and watch to see who is in this area, who is in that area, who is, NPR, whatever it is in that area. And you're learning about that. So that was educational. But I came out of the place. When I got to the front desk, someone said, "Oh, this is what you look like. Oh, you're a nice looking lady." I said, and who are you? He said, "You don't know?" I said, "No, your face looks very familiar, but I don't know." He said to me, there were reporters watching you, there were people from here watching you, people from there watching you, and they told everything. I said to him, I said, I switch rooms. I switched rooms and they used one of the guy who worked at the place to say, you should go over to that room. Well, when I went over to that room, it was worse than the one before. It's just another set of demons watching me. I could not turn on the light to take a shower. I had to shower in the dark. I mean, I had to do this showering in the dark for how many years in a house? I mean, you buy your house, you buy a second house, and these people are following you from one place to the next. These are the fools who tell you to shut up. When God gives you a word to deliver, He gives you a word to deliver. They don't want you to deliver it. But then they're the ones who are telling you to shut up. Then they're the ones who are sleeping in your bed with you. When is this going to change? When is all of this going to change? You mean until the Lord send a tornado to root up everybody? Until He sends a what? Another pandemic? Let me say, that's the reason why He did. So just in case anybody think I'm on their hit list, come hit. Because you know what happened? You don't know the God who is watching me, and you don't know who he sends to watch me over me. So when you come to hit, somebody might take you down so fast that you don't even know how you got down. Then for the leaders now who are political leaders, I lie down there and I was watching the legislature live, and I heard um uh I don't know, it might be an MP or but somebody in the legislature, and he was basically saying for the basically he's saying for the Christian people, for the faith-based people. They're talking about their stuff, but he's talking about for the faith-based people. Well, I saw something this morning that they're trying to propose a bill, and it's a C9. I think I read it. I wrote it down. So I think what I wrote down was C9, Bill C9, right? Announcing criminalization to control speech and criminalize religious thoughts and religious belief. Let me publicly say, no man fights God and wins. No man fights God and wins. When you come against people's belief, the man said faith based people. Good? Faith based. I fall under the category of faith based people. And I'm not going to release my faith to people just because somebody thinks that believing and trusting in God is wrong. And as a matter of fact, let me say this plain. You don't even know who prayed for you to be in position. So I would like to say to this person, to whomever you are, be careful, because God is a loving God, but he's a dangerous God. He's a loving God, but he's a dreadful God. So be careful. You did not put yourself in position. God ordered a man to be there. And because of that man, all of you are in the position. Let me say it like that. So if you think that you're going to go against God's order, you better be careful. Be careful. God is a loving God, but he's a dreadful God. He's a loving God, but he's a dangerous God. So if you're going to remove Attorney General's consent, no exception for religious belief, which means that if I speak something that God tells me to speak, you can get a police officer to lock me up. Well, I guess you don't know who God is. And you don't know that according to Isaiah 22, he said, I will crumple you up like a ball and toss you. And if he's going to crumple you up like a ball and toss you, read Isaiah 22. I just gave you the Bible to read. So you will know what he's saying. Remember, according to Psalm 75, I'm giving you the Bible to read. So at least you'll know that I'm not making this up. So if you're going to act against God's word, just remember, I just told you that he's a loving God, but he's a dangerous God. You didn't put yourself in position. You sure did not. He takes one down and he puts up another. Promotion comes from God. Humility precedes honor. So if you want him to take away your honor, then guess what? Walk outside of humility and walk in arrogance and see if he won't do what he will do, because he's God. I fear him, and I'm a faith-based believer. That will not change. So if anybody needs to put me on their hit list, just remember that if God hits you, you don't recover. I'm saying it like I got it. I didn't have anything written. I did not have anything written. I'm just saying like he tells me. Because he said, I'm a loving God, but I'm a dangerous God. And if you're going to come against faith-based people, faith-based believers, when this is a charter right that we have, you're going to go against the charter? Remember who put you in position. Remember who put you in position. The same God who promotes is the same God who will demote. I'm throwing it out there so everybody can get it. I'm not erring on the side of caution. He said, because guess what happened? According to Jeremiah 1, he said, root them up. So some will be rooted up, some will be dug up, and some will be planted. That's the word. I'm giving you the word to read. Because just like you would swear on the Bible in court, that's the same book. That is the law, the first law. And the man-made law is the second law. I fear God. I do. If you don't fear God and your aim is to destroy the country, just remember, none of us created this country. God did. Our creator, the Almighty, the sovereign God, the creator of the heavens and the earth, he created this country. None of us did. The person who was talking, he was an immigrant, just like myself. So whether you're born here or not, just remember, if there is a statute that's in position, why are you going to fight against? You know, when you fight against that, you're fighting against God. You're basically moving the boundary marker because there is a boundary that you don't cross. So that's like moving the boundary marker that the ancient fathers have set. So when you're going to move the boundary marker to tell people, we're going to change this so that we take away your rights. When he said we have freedom of religion, freedom of expression, and you're going to take away our rights to express ourselves, just remember the same God who put you there will move you. The same God. This is the historic year. But please take the warning. Don't let God shift you out of position. Don't let God move you out of position because you decide to use arrogance and fight against your maker. Because I'm sure you cannot show me or you cannot tell me who made you. There is only one God. Only one God. And if you're going to take away our rights to worship God, he said, I created all man for worship, whether you know it or not. And if you're a created being, you fall under his statute. You do. And if I could speak into position whatever he said and it happened, then do you think God is going to sit there and let you come up against his word? So here is my caution. Heed the word of Almighty God. Heed the word. Heed the word. Take heed of the word. Don't ever try to kick against the brick. Don't ever try to kick your foot against that stone. That stone will break your foot. He is the cornerstone. Don't let him be angry. There is too much voodoo, witchcraft, and stuff that's taking place. And if you want to take God out of this country. This country cannot be the historic country anymore. This country cannot be the country that he promotes. If you want to take God out of this country, Canada, when he said, I'm giving Canada significance, you weren't the one who declared the word. So if you are going to take God out of Canada, you better understand that you have to give an account to the Creator. So I implore you, whoever came up with the plan for Bill C9, revisit your plan, think again, think about the Creator, think about who put you in position. He takes down one and he puts up another. Don't let him have to take you down in order to put up somebody else because you're not complying with his order. You cannot mess up everybody's life, which means you came to destroy. If the prime minister is trying to unite, then you came to destroy. So I don't know who proposed the bill C9. If it's done in which legislature. But all I know is rethink your thoughts, rethink your ideas, because God is God and he will always be God. That's not going to change. Never, never, ever. For the people who keep putting devices everywhere I go, it doesn't matter where I go, you follow me with a device. I'm just saying God is in control. And when he starts taking vengeance, just know you're not the vengeance, he is. I hope somebody gets this, and I hope the whole world gets this. He said, for too long I've been silent. He said, go open your mouth and speak for me. They keep cutting off your voice, but I'm going to cut their money. So whoever keeps cutting my voice and messing with my computer was down because they mess with it, just know that God is going to mess with your money. So when your money starts blazing on fire, just make sure you know it was God. All right? Good. So everybody have a great and wonderful night and rethink, 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 rethink. Have a great night. Goodbye.